be looking at the faces and what the elements are, and then we'll go into the little details, the little features that add different flavor to the main core personality. When we're looking at the personal elements, these are the building blocks that determine a person's temperament, their general vibe, what their constitutional personality is, kind of like what they came into this world as. One of the things to note that if their face indicates that they're one personality and they're portraying a different one, that's worthy of investigation. It's like, what happened that you are not true to who you're meant to be? Now, with the elements, people have varying amounts. Some people are 50-50, half wood, half earth. With the percentages, it gives you a sense of which way they're leaning when you're trying to predict how their personality is going to present itself. Everyone's a mix of multiple elements. There is not a person that is a single element. That would be a caricature. You see these in cartoons where one person is like, oh, completely evil, or one person is so totally sweet, and they don't have any other dimensions to their personality. Most people will be two main elements. Sometimes there's a strong third that shows up. Sometimes they'll have all five. Ideally, you want to have all five elements on the face and want them to be balanced. You'll notice that even the proportions of the face will change as time goes on. They're not static. And that's why, even though they might be an 80-20 wood to metal, maybe in midlife, they have a strong tertiary of earth because they are being a mother, or maybe they become an academic, and so that develops their water element. And same thing with your own faces. You can look, but you're gonna kind of bend towards one way or another and not be as unbiased as you would if somebody else took a look. Maybe somebody else that might be familiar with face reading. And with the elements, knowing what our elements are will help us to develop our own path, will help us to balance ourselves. It will also help us to create proper choices for our life. With Chinese face reading, the ideal is a good balance of all the features. So as we know from the last class, with the 5 elements, there are 5 personality types. Within the different combinations that these could show up as, you have a myriad of different personalities. It's kind of like everybody's a snowflake, but you can tell that with their particular makeup, you could read them one year, and then not even a year, maybe like months later, they'll be a little bit different. And then even within a face reading, you might notice that you've brought somebody's water up or brought more fire into their face. When we're looking at what someone's meant to do, and there's another class for that is another specialty, advanced intermediate, like face reading class that is career path and purpose. And that class tells you like how to determine what a person's path is and like what area of occupation they should go into. So in that case, she had her tertiary was like fire, but she wasn't using it because it was blank. But when she started talking about that, you could see easily how fire could be like her secondary element. Then what happens is if you're trying to matchmake that earthy face of theirs on a fire person, the match won't work, or the group dynamic analysis won't work, or when you face read them, it won't work, because there'll be some features there that are representative of the energy they're running, but not of what their true face is. If they're overworked, if they're emotionally fatigued, if they're undernourished, if they have been sick for a long time, they'll present differently than a balanced one of those elements. The same thing happens when someone's in excess. If they are in a heightened state, if they're on stimulants, you might notice that they have too much energy in that element.